Okay, we are beginning. Today, we are talking about March of 2025 and the dynamic between Pisces and Aries. We talked about the baton, the plan that Aquarius was like, okay, Capricorn told me the plan. I'm Aquarius. I'm going to process the plan, put it in a digestible or nourishing, right, water bearer. How do you translate all of this information? Sometimes it can become very spiritual or there's communication on all levels. So now we're going into Pisces season. But it was weird because Pisces season feels like an Aries. And then I just thought, oh my gosh, but of course, that dynamic between Pisces energy and Aries energy. So Saturn is going to go into Aries in May. And I feel like I can already feel it. I can already feel the rumbling of Saturn in Aries because when a cycle starts to close, we start to feel the new beginning. And I think because we're in a very political place, a lot of things are happening on a global level, cosmic level. No wonder September of 2024 kept telling me, hey, like, remember what we talked about with Uranus and with Pluto? And it's a plan. And, you know, there we go, right? So here we are, March of 2025. And we are going to be bringing in this Piscean energy while we are also going to be blooming like a flower. So I tried to do this as simply as possible because I don't know if you follow other astrologers, but they be talking about how can we fit all of this in one video or one page. So I kind of saw this as like a a challenge of like how could I actually put that all on one page and see it at a bird's eye view and at a cosmic conversation that can actually help me and you throughout this month and beyond. Because this is what I'm really loving about this podcast is it is also documenting change. So we're documenting change in all sorts of ways. So, where to begin? Let's begin with water. I have this beautiful glass of water in my hand, and sometimes we forget that water is literally alive. Water has consciousness. Water is our mother. Water is what is made of our in almost our entire body, 70%. We need water. That is something we cannot live without. We need air. That is something we cannot live without. That's something we need. We need a body. That's something we need, right? So it's like the elements, air, earth, fire, water. We need air. We need a body. We need earth. We need water. And we also need fire. We need a purpose, a spark of consciousness, a moment of consciousness, being conscious and recognizing, ah, I have the power to do that. So, with this beautiful time that we have together, we are going to hydrate ourselves the way a Pisces would be leading us to do, which would mean we're going to talk into this water. And we're going to actually believe that what we say, all these beautiful words that we say into this water, how much we love this water. Thank you so much for nourishing every cellular piece of me, from the top to the bottom, the sides, all the way around, my aura, my temple, my organs, my skin, my teeth, my bones. Thank you to this beautiful water, nourishing. So there's flexibility and there's ease and there's abundance and there's flow in life. So there is a receiving and a sharing that can happen easily because there's a knowing that there is plenty. And it is about being present in the world and going after our dreams, finding out what do we dream about? What dream do we want to choose to bring to life? So thank you to this beautiful water for bringing us to life, for our little seeds and our little selves, nice and planted in our body, and that we give ourselves light, water, and air to be here on this planet Earth with love and care. Thank you. And I'll probably hear me gulping the air. Gulp, gulp, for that water. Interesting. There's air in here. Okay. So now that we opened up with a little bit of a, well, a prayer with the water, and now it's going through me. I can feel the water coming alive. We are going to look at the forecast of March, all on one page. Now, as I do this, I'm going to be very careful and cautious about language. Now, Mercury is currently in Pisces, and it doesn't necessarily feel the most comfortable in there because Mercury really loves like Gemini and Virgo, like talk, let's talk, let's talk, let's talk, because there's no fear of saying the wrong thing, right? Of not really being able to articulate because there are many levels or layers to this conversation, like talking with your hands, that also have to do with conversation. So Mercury and Pisces can be very this, many conversations happening at once. Maybe my hands are the thing that you're watching. Maybe it's like, the vibe back here, right? Maybe it's my voice is just bringing you on a ride. Maybe it's just my energy and it's just the feeling that this container that we are in feels like. Maybe it's all of the above. So, Pisces season. It's going to feel a bit a bit cold. We are currently in a Venus retrograde, or we're about to be officially. I think we can start to feel the coldness, maybe even with humanity, like things that we're putting into place. It's a bit harsh. Can we soften? Can we warm that up a little bit? It's like when you it's like when you want a meal and you take a frozen thing out of the freezer that's already cooked, and you're like, I need to cook this. I don't got time to do too much, so I'll try to fry it and whatever. But no, it wants to be in the full oven, right? So then you can make sure all of that warmth can get through to the center. So it takes time to thaw things out. We need a bit of like a warm, energetic hug, right? So if you're feeling a bit cold or things are feeling a bit harsh, and maybe you may be feeling vulnerable or you may be feeling um just, needing to put your hands on your heart, you're like, "Mm, I need to take a step back from that, or I need to go lay down and just listen to music that helps me feel a more calmed, relaxed state, or I need to go outside and spend the day outside and look at this beautiful blue sky. how grateful I feel to be on this planet. Like, wow, this is beautiful. The trees are so green. Thank you. Wow, what a beautiful planet we live on. So there's going to be a Venus retrograde in Aries right at March 1st. And Venus isn't necessarily the most comfortable in Aries, which is interesting because Aries is very passionate, but Aries feels like more like a masculine energy because Mars is its ruling planet. So it does have a bit of a boldness and a let's go, a go-getter. Let's just cut through it. Let's do it. Mars is also the patron saint, or like not the patron saint, the like represents like fixing things. And I'm doing this because of like surgeons. Like Mars rules over surgeons. So psychic surgery. I feel that there is something happening with that. So Venus entering Aries already a little uncomfortable because you got to be a little bit more vulnerable. And we love Aries because they're so bold and they're so let's go. But that also means the relaxation and the receiving. I mean, they're goats, right? They got the horns. They're like, let's go. They're the rams, right? So they're like, you know, God of war. I don't want to say this word very often because it actually feels possible. And I do not fear Mongol. Is it fear Mongol or fear whatever? Like, I don't want people to be scared of hearing my forecast when I look at the planets. It's more about, well, isn't this conversation interesting? What can I learn from this? Or maybe the planets are telling me something. Maybe the planets are like, hey, be warm yourself up. It might be cold out there. So we don't take everything literally. This is a disclaimer. I am not a medical professional. I am not a therapist. I am not a scientist. So what I am doing is for educational purposes only and entertainment purposes only. It's for the love of astrology and the inner transformation that you can receive when you also work with the planets within your personal birth chart, because we all have one of those. We have a perfect moment in time that we were born. And when we were born, the sun was over in this season, and the moon was over here, and Jupiter was over here. And that's where the consciousness went. Today the baby is born, right? So we all have this beautiful birth chart within us, which means we are all the planets. So even when we talk about Aries energy or we talk about Pisces energy, it's in here too. We have Pisces energy and we also have Aries energy. So maybe there's some uncomfortability happening within. Is there anything within your like love life or the love of yourself, self-love, or the love of your career, your love for, do you know what you love? Do you know what you enjoy? Is this a time where you'd like to reflect? How much love do I have? Am I receiving in my life? Sometimes there's love all the way around. But if we're really used to helping everybody else and doing everything else, hello, we got to receive. So that Venus retrograde Aries might feel a bit chilly. Now, Mars, no, Mercury is also entering Aries on the 3rd. So the 1st and the 3rd. That's going to be hot. So Mercury, what we say, closest to the sun. So really has the message. It's like, and then, all right, here you go, planet Earth. The Mercury's gonna, here's some technology, here's some communications. Things are gonna start to feel like they're amping up. And Mercury in Aries works really fast. So it's going to feel a bit hot, like hot on the gas. Like, whoa, we are going, whoa, race car driver, sort of, like this is chill out. This is let's work together here. Something like that. Because Mercury does go retrograde in Aries on the 14th. So we actually have plenty of time. Plenty of time. This is also another beautiful heads up. This is why I also love working with the planets and looking a little bit ahead because then in my own life, I feel like I work with that time very intentionally. And then I'm finishing projects, I'm building my business, I'm expanding my perspectives or my consciousness or I'm continuing the journey. I'm moving forward. I'm transforming, right? Transforming can also be doing receiving, which may mean just laying on the grass and chilling out. You know what I mean? That's still healing. There's all sorts of healings happening. So it's going to be a little hot the closer we get to the end of March, which, as you know, the first day of spring, so we have yet another cycle starting. So I know last time we talked about the snake, the wood snake. Hey, Leo, thanks for joining us. I don't know if you see his little tail. Come here. You want to say hi? Come here. You want to dance? Come here. You sit? Okay, can I have your paw? Can I have your other paw? Oh, so sweet. There we go. There's Leo. There's Leo. Thank you. Oh, he's like, oh, it's over there. Wow, thank you so much, Leo. So, how great of a timing because our little flowers out there blooming spring. So, we had the wood snake year. That was the Chinese New Year. We're like, yes, new cycle. And then we're like, agriculturally speaking, we also have a new season. So there's 4 seasons. So now we're on the quarter, like we're at a new quarter of time. So there's so many different cycles that are happening because we're also feeling into that Saturn is shifting into Aries, which is about another 2.5 year cycle. So there, and we just finished that Pluto and Capricorn cycle that was about 20 years. It was like 18 or 20. So we have, it's like we're in cosmic elevators. And they're like, it's like, next. All right, that cycle has closed. Thank you so much. All right, next. Here's the new cycle. Okay. And Saturn in Aries is going to feel kind of similar to that, like, getting pioneers, bold, fire. They're very, very militant. So, our beautiful Gen Z individuals who have all of these really beautiful aspects that we also, they're part of the conversation. There's going to be another level to this conversation. And this generation of Gen Z, something's going to push, something's going to happen. And it's generationally. And I just think it's pushing Gen Z's now, like Gen Z has kind of been like, oh my gosh, why millennials are like, wherever millennials are at, right? And then X, they're at, and then there's boomers, but the boomers haven't like you guys, like this isn't like there should be movement, like there should be abundance. Why is there so much hoarding at the top? Hello. So Gen Z is going to push us forward march. So there is an activation that will be happening, that is happening, right? So we got that 14th. Mercury retrograde goes into Aries, technology, communication. So just, it's So that's kind of like our last warning, right? Because things might feel really heated on a global level of like who's kind of pushing. How serious are we? What's going on, right? So we don't want anybody to trip any wires or to anticipate and start something terrible that we all don't want to happen. We want peace. We want abundance. We want to really pay attention to the planet. Right now, the poor ocean is being poisoned and with all the, I mean, in general, but like there's a lot of animals just like showing up on shore that is very concerning. Sometimes, as somebody who's like, I am not a doomsday person, I do see that when a lot of animals are like dying in a group, that's not good, right? That's not good. Or if animals start to show up in a different place, that means something big has shifted. So, the more I learn about my communication with the animals, the more I recognize we're all speaking the same language because the animals speak a language of vibration. And when you start to speak the level or the feeling of vibration more and energy more, you recognize that conversation is all around you because it is. That's like the beauty of being alive on this planet and having plants and animals. And sometimes it can be really elevated when we take certain substances, especially any sort of psychedelics, where we start to feel that feeling. This is not me telling you to do or do not that stuff, right? But we are hearing about some people who are making decisions using a psychedelic often and using that as like medicine or like using that as the, you know, channeling, what's, you know, right? So, with that said, the third week of March is gonna be springtime. Like it is that time is going to decipher the future. I say that because there is commitment. There's a lot of talk about commitment. And on the 19th, it's on a Wednesday, Juno retrogrades in Sagittarius. Juno is the wifey of Jupiter. Jupiter in Sagittarius, that's ruling planet. That's like dynamic. So we are really looking into the philosophy, like long-term relationship. Like, are you who you say you are? Like now we're getting into deeper conversation, morality, humanity and morality. Like all of a sudden the conversation is going to be like, these are people. Like this is the planet. This wrong move can change everything. The wifey of Jupiter also being like, this is a commitment. Commitment to what? To war or to love? What are you choosing? Because Juno is retrograde in Sagittarius. The opposite of that marriage dynamic could be like splitting up, that kind of breaking up energy. So that just feels on like a global level. Alliances, like people, like things just like something's splitting, like a separated feeling. And then boom, the next day, first day of spring. So the sun goes into Aries, and you're like, whoa, that's been actually a lot of, thank God it was Pisces season with a lot of this Aries energy to kind of like simmer the fire, right? Because there is a lot of that like quick, let's go, let's go, let's go, Aries energy, like let's go, like let's, yeah, yeah, you know. So then on the 21st, Vesta Retrograde in Scorpio, sisterhood. So it is now, we're having some deep reflections as people. So we're going to be looking at our deepest committed relationships, our commitments to like who we are and who we are with and who we are committing ourselves to in a relationship with. And then we got the identity, the matter of fact. The sun enters Aries. The matter of fact, today is the first day of spring. That is the matter of fact. The next day, Vesta retrograde in Scorpio. Scorpio represents transformation. Scorpio can also be a bit cold and harsh because both Pluto and Mars is their ruling planet. So as much as it's like, oh, it's a water sign, it's actually pretty fiery. It's actually very cutting. It's like when people use water to cut stone. Very pointy, can like water can slice you in half. Like if it is used in a right way, water is a weapon. So let's go back to, okay, water's like, come back to the water. Okay. So water can also be used as a weapon. Great. Sisterhood. There's going to be as much as whatever is happening in the world, it's very like bro and bros coming together. And there's going to be a severedness that happens with the wifeys of Jupiter. You know, the wifeys. That's like sisterhood. Are you in? Are you out? Now, Jupiter is, or no, Vesta is Jupiter's sister. So Juno and Vesta are both asteroids. So interesting, the wifey of Jupiter and also the sister of Jupiter are taking a step back and going, are we really committing to this? What are we really committing to? Because the sisterhood, the Vesta, that's retrograde in Scorpio, is more of like individually, what are you committed to? When Vesta is negative or like it's imbalanced, it's denial. So it's more about the commitment of the self. Like, what are you committing yourself or devoting yourself to? Is this benefiting you and humanity? Right? So there's going to be some stuff happening. 19th, 20, 21st. Third week, I'm just saying, whatever that's going to be, I hope we all turn into beautiful flowers and we bloom. And it's just like, and it's peaceful. I now know that is my hope, right? That is my hope because I haven't looked past March of the astrology. So, yeah, I hope that we don't go to war. I hope something happens where we start to respect the law and the certain, okay, too far, too far. No, stop that. Once we get to that first day of spring, it is a march forward. It felt militant. It felt like march forward. Matter of fact, we are committing to this. Are you committing to this with your partner? And are you committing to this within yourself? Is it love that you are committing yourself to in your life? Right? So just feels like a humanity conversation happening. And guess what? We're all in this conversation together. So the more we can actually have the conversation and say it out loud, that's then we like know what to do. We're talking to each other. Hey, what are you getting from all this? Okay, what are you getting from all this? It's a friendly conversation. That's networking. That's also Mercury, Gemini, and Virgo. Network, right? So we are calling in our network. We are collaborating. We are being very strategic with that sisterhood and with that wifey energy and like all the men out there listening too, like the hubby energy and the brotherhood energy, right? Like, is it toxic? Is it is it good for you? Like, what's the opposite of toxic? This is nourishing, right? So it's not even about masculine or feminine, because it's really now we're just talking about morality. What's the ethics here? What are we committing to? More philosophy, right? So we got the Aries, let's go. And Sagittarius is like, hold on. There needs to be philosophy and ethics. We have to take a moment. What's this long-term agreement, this long-term commitment, this long-term relationship? Am I committing to this relationship or this identity of being in love with myself or being at war within myself? Which one do I choose? Which one do I want? Then we move into week 4. So now we're in Aries season. So Aries season is gonna feel like new. I don't know what any of that feels like, but new. No, it's like not that I don't know what new feels like, but this kind of new is gonna be new. Like people are gonna feel a little naked, vulnerable. Like, but it's like it's just like it happens to it's like it's not just it's just one of those. But then you remember like, oh, everyone has like a human body, you know? Why do we sexualize it and make money off of some of these things? And I don't know, that was pretty random. But okay, I'm coming back to then that Venus retrogrades. So now we're in the Venus retrograde and it goes into Pisces. Okay, interesting. Yeah, like, oh, there's a distraction right there. I just went, hmm, watch out for the distractions, especially when they come through at times where you're like, I just had a good point, or like, that felt like, genius spirit, or flow or ease, still around. So that Venus retrograde now shifts into Pisces energy. Okay, so then we're going back into like, ooh, a bit fiery, a bit fiery, a bit fiery. Oh, thank God. Venus goes back into Pisces. You're almost like, thank God for these Venus retrogrades of people thinking and reflecting and being like, let's make decisions and blah, blah, blah. That's on the 27th, 29th, solar eclipse, new moon in Aries, forward March. That's when I said forward March. So it is like that Venus retrograde Pisces has to be like no regrets. Like we're doing this because it's mutable, right? So it has changed, it is changing. There is that commitment, all that stuff, and then it's like, okay, we're doing this, and then new moon in Aries, solar eclipse, forward March. The next day on the 30th, Neptune enters Aries, spirituality. Neptune is ruled by what sign? Pisces. So, as much as it feels like, whoa, 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 there is support. This Piscean and Aries energy are besties. Because Aries going, oh, thank God that like you just be in that like spiritual water and like, yeah, let's be in here. And then the Pisces is like, oh, I'm here. Ooh, oh, okay, Aries, yeah, let's that energizing. Oh, and then, Aries, if it's like too much energy, it's like, oh, I feel soothed. Thank you. Ah, so keep balance this month. Don't leak your energy best that you can because we're human. So that was my little like, okay, you got 4 weeks, here we go. And within that 4 weeks, you can also do a 1, 2, 3 cycle, 1, 2, 3 step for yourself. So if you're working on certain projects and you're like, I need to just do a 1, 2, 3, like a start, middle, and end, this is like every 10 days, you can do, okay, these 10 days, I want to, write, like say you want to record a video and you're like, I just want to freaking record a video and post it on YouTube. First 10 days, you're going to just focus on the script and you're going to do the copy. You're going to figure out, okay, what do I want to talk about? Bullet points, blah, 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 blah. Great. You have this copy. You start to like be like, okay, these are the bullet points. Great. You make that description for the YouTube video. So you basically just made your whole copy. You're like, awesome. If you're even like then do number two, which would be the edit process, right? So then you're like, great, I know what I'm talking about. I know the script. Now, like, what are the graphics? What does it look like? Pick out your clothes, perhaps record the video right there, like start doing the thumbnail, like put it all together. You already have the script, you already have the copy. So, boom, record it. You got all the stuff. Then those last 10 days of the month, you've got okay, then we're going to upload it. We're going to upload then the video and the copy, and we're going to post it on, all the platforms, and then we're going to direct people to the link over here and then, blah, 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 whatever the updating, post and publish sort of thing. And then boom, you've just created a 1, 2, 3 for yourself. If you're wanting to be a content creator or you're wanting to get your work out into the world, because I also think this is a time Aries energy is like, dude, like, you're meant for it. Like, you're meant for this. Like you are meant for this. Like you are meant for this. There's something going to be so clear for you this month that like you're like, I am meant to do this. I am meant for this. And then there's going to be this like feeling of purpose again, or inspiration, or motivation, or a door opening, or an opportunity, or abundance and ease and relief and happiness and joyfulness. Just like, first day of spring. That was a that was an interesting winter. We're coming out of the hibernation. The sun is starting to shine. Whew, all right. You know? So that's March of 2025. And I'm going to leave you at that. Let me look over my notes really quick. Yeah, that only thing about Neptune, the last day, the Neptune enters Aries, it's going to all be about like spirituality, right? So it's going to be spirituality versus deception. And just because you got your guru right now, like there's so many out there, right? So know that if you feel like it's a fraud or a fool or it's surface or it's just not hitting or it's like not for you, go find what's for you. You know what I mean? Stay true to you, that authenticity, that Aries. So don't get fooled. Don't get fooled back there. Don't get fooled. Don't get fooled back there. But I'm talking about that subconscious where you're just like, oh, yeah. Who's calling the shots? Is it you? Or are you playing out someone else's plan and agenda for what? Why would you commit to somebody else's agenda or somebody else's script when there would be no long-term reward for you? You know what I'm saying? So, oh, also on the 29th, as that new moon in Aries is, because of course, as that new moon in Aries is happening, Mercury retrograde also goes into Pisces. So both Mercury and Venus are in Pisces and Neptune enters Aries. So yeah, it's about to get spiritual. Cool. I mean, I'm so down for that. I'm so down for that. Do you see, like, clearly, like, I'm so down for that. So, what if I pull one card? Where are my cards? This is my candle for later, where I have my beautiful Reiki healing painting that I've made. And the other ones are going to be, the other ones are going to be on sale soon. So let's do this real quick. Where is my spur? Oh, all right. Let's do a little balancing spray. We got to get more balancing spray. Oh my God. Smells so good and feels so good. Thank you for that balancing spray. We're just gonna put this all over these cards too. Make sure we got boom. All right. So a bunch of these cards were popping out to me earlier. Ooh. So overcoming fear. All right. I will transcend every loss, resolving anger. Conflict reminds me when I need more space for myself. Okay, that Aries, Pisces conversation. We are going to be overcoming fear and resolving anger. Oh, look, and they match. They match the vibe. Resolving anger, overcoming fear. I will transcend every loss. Conflict reminds me when I need more space for myself. Sounds good. All right, so I'll post these so then you guys can also make one of these if you want. I'm going to fill out a bunch of the other days, but I recognize like there's a lot of different aspects happening. But if I give you the vibe, you go in deeper if you want and sign up for any of my coaching, either sessions or my courses that are upcoming, and we get to dive in even deeper. So if you're like, yes, go deeper, like I want you to go deeper in this, we'll be able to go deeper in this soon. So, yeah, that was March, March of 2025. Let's go, let's go. I will see you in April. Happy springtime.